Welcome to 7 Deadly Sins. This time, we explore the deadly sin of gluttony. Gluttony is defined as the overindulgence and overconsumption of anything to the point of waste. Literally translated, it means eating or drinking to excess. And they don't come more gluttonous than Paul Masson, who lays claim to being Britain's fattest man.
If you multiply that by about 5 or 6 times, that would be consumed in a day.
And brace yourself for the grossest dining experience you'll ever see.
If I could eat live food all the time, I would probably love it.
And the fattest family in the fattest town in Britain.
I could sit down and eat a full tin of Quality Street straight away. Think nothing to it.
In the 21st century, overconsumption means obesity levels are soaring out of control across the Western world.
The problem we've got is people eating massive amounts all the time, and that's why we have got society that's becoming more and more obese.
Some love to gorge to excess.
It is beautiful. How can anybody say it's sinful?
Gluttony is in the 7 sins, isn't it? But you can still be gluttonly and love the Lord as well, can't you?
Others are prepared to kill for gluttony.
Turning off flesh from a live animal is kind of exciting.
It is the ultimate indulgence to take the life of something that lives.
And some would rather die themselves than give up their guilty pleasures.
Food make me happy, but I also know it's killing me.
Meet the Jameses. This family of titans from Boston, Lincolnshire, claims to be the fattest family in Britain.
We all are big. If you speak to anybody, oh, the Jameses, the big ones.
It's the happiest thing, really. Eating.
Cream bun. I love a cream bun.
I eat for the sake of eating, not because I'm hungry and I want it.
I could sit down and eat a full tin of Quality Street straight away. Think nothing to it.
Yeah, I like my food very, very much. And I enjoy my food.
I could eat all day if I wanted.
The 44-strong James clan dominates the local Fenside estate, helping to give Boston the official title of Britain's fattest town. Head of the heavyweights is Mary.
I'm the eldest of 14, and we're all big. There's not one skinny one among us all. I like Chinese meals, and I like a nice cooked Sunday dinner, and I like stews with dumplings on the top.
Mary's daughter, Lulu. Her vices are snacks and ready meals.
I just pick from getting up in the morning to going to bed at night. I pick all day, and that's why I'm this size. And I'll just get up and wobble to the fridge or to the cupboard, see what I've got in, sit eating it. See, this is just junk food, but I like them. Oh, it's very hot. I'm a salad dodger. I turn a set and have fish and chips in a salad. This will just fill the filling in my tooth. And then I've got an apple pie. I'll just have a little bit of that, though. I think about food all the time. There's nothing else, is there? My bingo and my food.
And another daughter, Megan.
My first love in life would be food. And my pop. And my beer.
But burgers are her biggest temptation.
Could I have £1 plain cheeseburger, no salad, but mayonnaise. Seeing them burgers makes my mouth water. My mouth's watering now, actually. It is beautiful. It looks beautiful. How can anybody say it's sinful? I'd never feel guilty after eating a burger. Never.
So for this bunch of self-confessed gluttons, being clinically obese is a badge of honour.
If they're going to be big, they'll be big and be happy. If people don't like it, it's up to them, innit? I'm proud of what I am.
We are proud to be fat. We're big build. We've always been like it. And we love it.
But do they consider themselves guilty of the deadly sin of gluttony?
Maybe I am sinning by eating too much, but I just love my food. I don't care.
Yeah, food, it's evil. Look at the size of me. It's definitely a deadly sin, and we're all struck by it.
We are all sinners, but it don't look like we're bothered. We're not bothered.
But all is not well in this clan of happy fatties. Unbeknown to the rest of the Jameses, one family member is about to launch a rebellion.
We indulge to an excess, to the point where actually it is immensely wasteful.
I think gluttony is definitely a problem, and of course we have access to things that we didn't used to, and there's all kinds of cheap carbohydrates, which, as we know, tend to put weight on.
We live in sort of excess all the time. You know, everything is bigger.
Our next glutton does not eat to excess, but 39-year-old Eddie Lynn's appetite is truly shocking.
I do get a thrill out of eating live food. Wriggling a little bit. You know, there's definitely some kind of rush with it.
He likes his food to be so fresh, it's not even dead. For gluttons, it's believed that your punishment in hell is to be force-fed a concoction of live creatures. But for Eddie, it's more like his idea of heaven.
You do feel this animal fighting you and not wanting to be eaten. It makes the food even better somehow.
Over the last 4 years, Eddie has been filming and blogging shocking examples of what he's termed deep end dining in a bid to spread the trend across the globe.
Deep end diners are friends who have the same passion for exploring the world through their stomach.
He may not binge, and he may not be vast, but Eddie is a glutton with a twist. It's what he's eating and how he's eating it that's the sin.
Yeah, to be perfectly honest, I probably do get a thrill out of eating live food. You know, there's definitely some kind of rush with it that you definitely don't get out of eating a hamburger or a fish fillet. It's kind of suburb, yeah.
But Eddie hasn't always had a love of exotic food.
I want to grab a plate real quick. I definitely have a taste for the bizarre, and but it wasn't like I woke up one day and had this very extreme palate. It was definitely cultivated through years, and you can blame my mother for this.
This is the brain come from pig.
She brought us this very obvious pig brain. Basically, she said, eat. The more we refused and fought it, the more she insisted, and she was like, you're not leaving this table until that brain is gone. 2 hours. It was the longest lunch I've ever had.
Since the traumatic experience, Eddie has pushed the boundaries with inquisitive eating, but it's not something Mum's particularly thrilled about.
I don't like you eat the live food.
You don't like me eat the live food?
No.
But it's fresh.
I know it's fresh. It's danger to you.
Despite his mother's concerns, Eddie attempts to justify his bizarre eating habits.
When you eat your food, you should at least recognize what the animal is. Well, I take it to even to another level where I really get to know my food. I'm not trying to deny it, that it's an animal that is going to die, that is going to nourish me. It is what it is, and it's not disguised as anything else. So these are my live prawns that I just got from the market. Put some salt, and then I have my high-quality rice wine. It slowly kills them. They kind of flop around, and they get really crazy, and then they get drunk, hence drunken shrimp. I like to eat them while they're still moving. It is twitching a little bit. Some people say, that you can taste the animal's soul, which sounds kind of ludicrous, but there is something a little different. If I thought about it, long enough, I would have to say what I do is gluttonous, because it is adventure dining. It's not necessarily a way I need to eat to sustain myself, whether it's immoral or sinful. I don't think so.
But Eddie's bizarre appetite is about to take him on his most shocking and dangerous journey yet.
Oh, holy shit, man. This is insane.
Really, to eat something that is alive, as a human being,
is about being immoral, and it's unnecessary. And the wonderful thing about humanity is that humanity.
It's the absolute excess. It is the complete waste of taking a life of that which is alive. So gluttony to the extreme, I would have thought.
It's 8 a.m. on the Fenside estate in Boston, Lincolnshire, home of the self-proclaimed fattest family in Britain. Mary is waking up to her normal routine. To start the day, Mary inhales a cocktail of drugs to ease her chronic bronchitis.
I have a real bad chest and sometimes I have a job breathing. I mean, I do like my food and I don't want to give my food up because I enjoy my food. And if this is what I've got to put up with, well, I've got to put up with it.
Even the simplest daily routines become a mammoth task for Mary. Unable to stand long enough to wash herself, she's had to have a shower for the disabled installed. And Mary relies on even more prescription drugs just to keep her alive.
This one is an aspirin to thin my blood down. This one is to keep any infection down below away. And then I have to have 3 of these to help with my bones because I've got arthritis. And then them 2 there as well, calcium to help I prostrate. Then at dinner time, 20 minutes before I have anything to eat, I have to take 3 of the Remagel and 1 of the calcium. And then this one here is because I've got high cholesterol and I have to take that one at night. There I'm all up. This is for diabetes.
So it's injectable.
It's insulin.
Well, she's got to have them, hasn't she, because of her health. It's either take the medication or, well, you'd die, wouldn't you, if you didn't take them?
Yeah.
Mary's daughter Lulu is coming round to take Mary to a local medical centre. Since Mary had a kidney removed 19 years ago, she has to spend 4.5 hours hooked up to a dialysis machine 3 times a week. What should be a routine medical procedure is made far more complicated by Mary's obesity.
I'm going to check her blood pressure.
Because my arms are too big.
Too big, no?
The cuff's not big enough to go around my arm. It keeps popping off, so they do it around my ankle. She'll put a needle in, it's got a tube on it. The vessels are too deep in my arm, and that's why they have a job to get the needles in.
I've been thinking that I don't want to be like Mum. I wouldn't want to have to have this done, so I've got to try and get a better weight off. All I can do is try.
Back at home, Mary finds even the simplest day-to-day tasks a struggle.
I find it hard now to cook for myself because after I've been stood for a few minutes like now, I'll have to sit down and have a breath. I'll have to sit down and out of breath, just doing that. Do a bit at a time, like it's puffed me out just standing and preparing that bit of salad. I'm going to enjoy this today. It is a temptation though, isn't it? Food is a temptation. You either eat it or you don't. And we like eating it, and that's all there is to it.
Mary can't resist the temptation of gluttony, but she's hopeful that the good Lord loves a sinner.
Gluttony is in the 7 sins, isn't it? But you can still be gluttonly and love the Lord as well, can't you?
But for her daughter Lulu, the price you pay for a life of gluttony is starting to weigh heavily on her mind.
I love my clothes, but none of them fit me. And I won't get rid of them because I keep saying I'm going back on a diet and I'll end up getting back in them. But don't think I will. But I'm going to try right things, but depressed. Let me shut it. Oh dear. But when we go out as a family, you know, people's watching you, looking at you. You walk past people, you can see them turning back to look because you're big. I don't know.
The very fact that we have all these different slimming agencies that make billions and billions of pounds are about the fact that people don't lose weight, that people can't lose weight, and that's why it's perpetuated.
We're a wasteful society, we're a gluttonous society. You know, you go in for a restaurant for a meal and the size of the meals, and you're bound to waste.
I have got an illness. It's a binge eating disorder. I know it's bad, but I've got to have it. It's just like a vicious circle. And I've got to have the last very little bit.
Paul Masson from Ipswich weighs a staggering 826 pounds and is believed to be the fattest man in Britain. This glutton has been bedridden since 2001 from an addiction to binge eating that simply swallowed up his life.
Just ate takeaway after takeaway. The binge eating side of it took over, and the addiction really hit in really bad. A form of gluttony comes with the addiction side. Food is my friend. It's a companion. I look at it, and at the moment, this is better than having a normal life.
As Paul can't get to the shops himself, he satisfies his sinful urges on the internet.
Doing some shopping online. I'm ordering some chocolate and some savoury pastries. Got to have the stuff here. I need to have it. It's got to be there, and that is the addiction part of it.
Claire is one of the carers who look after this 48-year-old glutton doing his daily chores, and she understands that Paul needs food to make him happy.
I myself know how it feels. I'm overweight myself. I can sympathise with Paul because of that. And I know that when you are down, you do turn to food. I didn't know you'd done an order.
Yes, I'm having a bit of a bad day today.
This bag of snacks could keep the average family fed for days. But for Paul, it's supposed to keep him going for just 24 hours.
Right, chocolate, favourite chocolate bars, Banty, pasties, Watsits, more Cornish pasties, chocolate bars.
That's nearly 10,000 calories in snacks alone. But in the evening, the gluttony gets even worse.
Can I have one number 14, 235 chicken chow mein, large chips, large haddock? No, that'll do. It's giving me a high when I'm eating this, as well as a adrenaline sort of boost. The feeling will last for about an hour, and then I will have to have some chocolate or some crisps or carry on that feeling, that real good buzz. Once you get to my size, you can't stop eating. It just fills a hole in your life.
The need for food is all-consuming, and the gluttonous addiction has made him virtually helpless. It's impossible for Paul to wash himself. It's his carer's job to make sure he's clean and hygienic.
Cream him in various places to avoid any problems and burns he might have on his body from urine or anything like that.
I can see some people's point of view. They'll probably say, well, why should social services help him? He's only got himself to blame. But I say, well, okay, that's their opinion, but everyone's got their own opinion. But when you do get an addiction, you do need help.
Even the most basic human function is beyond Paul, who has to endure the humiliation of wearing a nappy.
We've all got certain drives in ourselves, as in motivation. And with me, that motivation doesn't come naturally. So, in the past, I've always yo-yoed with me weight. It's the motivation side of it. It needs help. I don't think I am a waste of society. There's still someone inside me. There's still a human being there.
But Paul is about to find out that his sinful eating is doing even more damage than he realised.
It's very easy to be judgmental when people get to 60, 70 stone. I think at that point the reality is that they've lost all hope, so therefore food has actually become their absolute comfort.
An individual is overweight because you're eating too much. The way to solve it is to stop eating. It's quite straightforward. Stop eating and you will lose weight.
The Jameses are the fattest family in Britain's fattest town, and they have two loves in their lives. One is food.
Can I have a fish cake and a small portion of chips, please?
And the second is bingo.
48, 88, 20, 20.
But tonight, Lulu is going to drop a bombshell.
I'm starting the diet tomorrow.
For how long?
I am, you'll see. Oh, look how she laughs. I am.
Well, she'll start it and then come off it, so what's going to go in on it?
You do though, don't you? You get fed up, don't you?
You do when you like your food like we do. Well, she has to accept it because she is big.
Yeah, but I'd sooner not be like this. People look at you more when you're big, don't they? And you can hear them talking, can't you?
I wouldn't want to be a size 8 though, or out like that. Because if they're like that, they get anorexia, don't they?
One of my legs is a size 8. I told them that I've gone on a diet, but they said, what's the point? Get tomorrow here, a couple of days, you'll be off it. But I said, well, I won't. I'm going to stop on it this time. I'll show you, but I'll just see. It's easy to see at first, but see how I go.
It's day one of Lulu's diet. She weighs in at 280 pounds and has a mountain to climb.
Oh dear. I didn't realise I was as big as what that says. I've got to do something now. I didn't realise I was as big as what I am.
Lulu doesn't just want to lose weight for cosmetic reasons. Recently, she's been struggling with arthritis in her knees. But doctors have told her if she's to have an operation, she has to lose around 6 stones or 84 pounds in weight.
All you think about is food, food, food. And like, I've started cutting down. You start cutting down and you think about food all the time. It makes you worse. You want to eat more. Because you know that you can't have it. It makes you want it even more. Gluttony, it's a sin. And it's killing me.
But it's not going to be easy for Lulu. She surrounded herself with temptation.
Look, how tempting is that? Look, a nice bit of chocolate. Oh, don't do it to me. This is all the naughty stuff. I like figs. And these are absolutely gorgeous. But you can't just eat one. You have to eat the full packet, and you could go into another packet quite easily as well. Look, the food's falling out at me and wants me to eat it. I could do with my jaws being stitched up to stop me.
Lulu's diet has only just begun, but already she's about to face her ultimate test.
We're all going to Chinese today. Dinner time for a Chinese.
Britain's fattest family have arrived for their weekly visit to the local Chinese restaurant to demolish the all-you-can-eat buffet. But today, there is a traitor in their midst. Lulu is determined to stick to her diet and prove to herself that she can resist temptation.
It's going to kill me. I'm going with all the family, they'll all be sat there, but I'm not giving in to it. I'll sit there and I'll be slavering at the mouth, watching them.
With the family's plates piled high, Lulu is left salivating.
My belly's rumbling watching them. It looks lovely and I could demolish 1 or 2 or 3 platefuls. Oh, don't you? No, I'm not. They wouldn't encourage you to diet. They'd say you're all right, it won't hurt you. No, you won't get no help whatsoever off them, no support.
She should be happy like us, like her. I don't think she should be going on a diet.
There's no wrong with that. You'd have it if you want on a diet.
Yeah, you want to get stuck in the sun. You're wasting away there, look.
I'd love to eat them. They're like crisp. They're ever so crunchy, but we'll give it a miss.
Despite being surrounded by gluttons, Lulu has survived her biggest test so far.
Well, it is hard, you know, sitting there and watching them all delve into the Chinese and me just sat there watching them. It's hard, and it's very, very tempting. But I've got to try and do it just for myself. I need operation. They won't do it while I'm this big. I've got to try and stop all this and try and eat a little bit healthier.
With little support from the rest of her family, who have gorged themselves on platefuls of Chinese buffet, back home, it's going to be a very tough challenge for former salad dodger Lulu. She has to lose 84 pounds in weight for her vital operation to beat arthritis.
I think the reason that gluttony is on the increase is because of the increase of sugar and salt in everything that we buy. And these are the 2 most addictive substances that you can possibly eat.
I think it's the wrong food that people are eating because it's cheaper and they can get more of it for the same money.
Los Angeles, the city of angels, and home to its fair share of sinners. Like Eddie Lynn, who has a gluttonous passion. He loves to eat live food. Today he's meeting a group who've heard about his sinful ways on his website and are hungry to learn more.
Okay, so what we're doing today is we're hitting 4 restaurants. And there are 4 unique places. There's some places that are little hole in the walls and some, seafood specialty places, and other places are more, upscale on the higher end of things, but they all have at least one item that's kind of strange.
Up first is the local shopping mall for some balut, an Asian dish of fertilized duck egg containing a nearly developed embryo.
How are you?
There is a method to how you drink the balut. First, you drink the embryonic fluid.
What do you think?
Pretty good.
Stage 2, when the fluid is gone, it is time to savor the embryo.
Dude, that's like a whole head there. Yeah. Boom, good job. What do you think of that? Dynamite balut. Yes, that's very good.
There is no way of telling how developed the embryo will be.
I can see feathers.
Okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
Everyone has different thresholds.
Yeah, it's a little bit a gag response.
And some people just couldn't handle it, and some people just took to it like a duck to water.
Next on the menu, an even more exotic dish, live lobster.
Oh, here they come. They're very big. Eating a live animal is definitely not like anything else, not like any other food you've ever had. For example, eating a live lobster, this creature is still moving and it's kind of watching you eat itself. It's a very surreal experience, and you're eating the meat that's been just quickly and freshly disemboweled from the lobster tail.
Oh, that moves. It's moving.
And the meat is placed on the back of the lobster, and you're eating it, and then meanwhile the lobster is kind of watching this whole thing. It's very strange.
Oh! Finally, for dessert, it is Eddie's favourite party trick, drunken shrimp.
Eyeball.
I think they liked it. I think they were very gluttonous today. as we all were. People who think this kind of eating is sinful, you know, I just have to ask them, you know, how do you feel about, assuming that they eat meat, how they feel about the meat that they eat.
I do not believe this is gluttonous. In fact, I think the quantity is rather small. The quality of the food is very good. It's very helpful. As you can see, it's extremely fresh. What else could you ask for? I don't think it's gluttonous at all.
It is feeding your appetite at the expense of an animal, which is part of the life cycle, but it's the way in which you're feeding off of this animal. You're eating the animal while it's still alive. That is ultimate gluttony.
Despite Eddie's lifestyle being branded as sinful, he perseveres with new depths of gluttony.
The one that I've been really trying to seek out, it's like the holy grail of the live food, is the live baby octopus.
Eddie has spent 4 years searching for somewhere willing to serve him a whole live octopus. And after a tip-off from a blogger on his website, he's headed for a restaurant in a Los Angeles district called Koreatown.
This is our menu right here. We actually specialize in live halibut.
Oh yeah?
And then we actually have some live octopuses too.
Do you think I could get a whole one?
We usually don't serve it like that. We usually cut it up because this is quite a big octopus.
I've heard like people in Korea do it whole. Have you ever heard that? That they do it the whole thing?
Yeah. But those are kind of small octopuses, but I mean...
Well, can you give me their smallest one? Because I want to do it the real way. You know, I want to do it the authentic way.
Okay, I'll tell our sushi chef to make it special for you.
It's making me nervous, but I'm excited. You know, I guess I'm kind of nervous because he looks a little nervous. It's dangerous. You know, people die every year in Korea.
It's actually a delicacy, so not a lot of Koreans eat it. Like, I never tried it whole, but I would never do it that way. I mean, that's a little too extreme.
Small one. Oh my God. Holy. That's it, all right. Thank you, Chef. If it's a live octopus, it definitely is fighting from the plate, you know, fighting on the chopstick. Even once it's in your mouth, it's hanging on to your teeth and your gums and your, you know, the roof of your mouth. Anything it can stick onto, it doesn't want to be eaten. In fact, it would rather kill you. It's pretty terrifying, actually. I'm scared shitless right now, actually.
This is the moment Eddie has been waiting for. The holy grail in gluttonous live food eating. But will he survive to tell the tale?
I think that anybody who purposefully goes out to inflict pain on animals or things that he might eat from wherever area is doing it because somewhere inside him there's a little bit of a sense of narcissism, that he can do whatever he wants. There's a desire to assert himself as somebody who's very different because he wants to be regarded by others as a little bit off-key, and he likes the kind of gratification he receives from people, and he wants to make his mark in this world. And you know what? Okay, it will. But with respect, there are much greater marks to make. Much greater marks.
Paul Masson is a bedridden glutton, addicted to binge eating. He may seek salvation as a sinner today, but it wasn't always this way. Paul was actually in the Salvation Army himself as a child, helping others. He was bullied, but for being tall, not fat. It wasn't until he got a desk job at a post office that he started to pile on the pounds.
The weight really started to go on quite a lot, and it really took over my life, the eating side of it.
Depressed by a failing relationship, he built up spiralling debts and fell victim to temptation. He was found guilty of stealing money from the post office to pay off what he owed and was imprisoned for 6 months. He was picked on while inside, making him confront his weight issue for the first time.
That really hit me, really, my size, because in prison you have to wear a uniform. They got no clothes to fit me, so that made me stand out even more. But eventually, just through working, grafting quite hard and I got my weight down a bit and started wearing prison clothes. I was 25 stone when I went into prison, and I think I came out there weighing about 19, 18 stone.
After release, his weight remained a problem. It soared up and down. But today it's got so bad, he has virtually imprisoned himself in his home in Ipswich. Apart from his helpers like Claire, he lives quite a solitary existence.
You do tend to shut yourself away a bit from society, but that's my own choice. And I think anybody who doesn't fit in the norm size will probably say the same.
I feel sad when I come away from Paul of an evening, when you think that you're leaving him, you're going home to your family and your life, and Paul's got nothing.
He longs for a partner in life.
I'm composing an email to my friend who lives down Felixstowe. She is a special friend. She's told me I can't call her my girlfriend because we're not that close. I dream of I can just walk and just do normal things. Have a relationship, get married, have children. I don't look at myself because I really hate the way I look. You get people look at you and you do get depressed thinking.
Paul is quite capable and can and has tendencies to think of suicidal thoughts. To me, it's a waste of a life. We've been put on here to live our life as much as possible. And when you look at someone like Paul, what is his life? This is it. There's no more. It just seems such a waste.
Paul's gluttonous addiction helps him through his darkest and happiest moments. But his weight is also putting his health at risk, and perhaps his life. So does he consider himself a sinner?
No, I can't really say much about being condemned as a sinner, more of death really, what upset me. If we looked at life with the 7 deadly sins, and we ran our lives like that, yes, I would say that addiction to gluttony was killing me. But we don't, do we? If that day of judgment never comes and the greater part of me says, well, sorry Paul, but you can't come in because you've been a sinner, well, I'll just have to accept it.
And I do believe that we in this society spend too much time supporting and encouraging individuals to believe that they have a problem which explains their appearance or the outcome of a particular problem. I believe that the individual should be encouraged to shoulder their responsibility.
Because there is so much food and drinks and all kinds of, there's so much available in society today, our eyes are bigger than our belly.
In the coastal town of Boston, Lincolnshire, Lulu has broken ranks with the rest of her family, who claim to be the fattest in Britain. Lulu has been on a diet for almost 7 weeks in an attempt to lose 6 stones so she can have an operation on her arthritic knees.
I did all right. I was doing all right for 6-7 weeks. I lost 1.5 stone, but it's hard. I don't know, I suppose it's like somebody that smokes or a drug addict. It's like an addiction to food.
Ironically, it was when she received news of a hospital appointment for a different operation that the stress seemed too much to bear.
Got a phone call from Nottingham Hospital telling me I had to go for operation. And I was scared because he had one before, and like, I don't like being put to sleep, so it really stressed me out, and the diet went out the window. Just started eating back to normal. Everything what's inside.
It is hard for her because, I mean, we all like a food, we're all big. There's not one skinny in among us. And it is hard for her to see us all eating and not her.
She should be proud of her body, she should be like all us lot. I don't think she should be on a diet, really, because she is a James, and that's what we are. We're big, and that's all there is to it.
With this family of sinful, self-confessed gluttons continuing on a main course to serious health problems, it looks like Boston's title of Britain's fattest town is safe, if only for the short term. In Ipswich, Paul Mason's addiction to food has made him one of the fattest men in Britain, and his gluttonous weight has led to frequent health scares. In the past, he's needed a life-saving hernia operation. On another occasion, paramedics had to tear down a wall to get him out of the house and into an ambulance. And today, during filming, he has suddenly been taken ill. Paul is suffering from breathing problems, and doctors want to examine Paul in hospital to make sure his life is not at risk.
Can't cope. But I think that's mostly weight-related problems, you know.
The ambulance is a specially designed vehicle for the critically obese, and it needs 4 ambulance crew and a winch to get Paul safely on board.
I was taken in hospital, and I honestly thought I wouldn't pull through.
Doctors learned that his weight had soared to 826 pounds. Now they've warned him his health has reached crisis point.
I've been down as low as I could get, and I think you have to do that before you can start realising how bad you got yourself to pick yourself up again.
He needs to go on a diet and lead a healthy lifestyle.
I have decided I must eat as healthy as I can and start exercising. I'm just going to carry on like that. I've got to make sure that I don't lose control again, because if I do, the amount of weight I put on next time will be fatal.
It is going to be hard for Paul because his junk food addiction has dominated his life. But he knows he has to try. This sin of gluttony can have terrible consequences.
Next time, it won't be a trip to the hospital, but a trip to the morgue.
While in Los Angeles, USA, Eddie Lynn is also putting his life at risk, but for very different reasons. Eddie is an extreme eater. He is about to eat a live baby octopus that could choke him to death by lodging its tentacles in his throat as it fights to survive.
You can't not have a rush right now. It's just so intense. I mean, look at this guy. Holy shit, man. This is insane. So, okay. Sorry, pal. Some sauce on you. Oh, crap. Oh, my God. It's doing something to my hand. Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
They're fighting with you, aren't they?
They're kicking my ass. The tentacles are like... and it's actually trying to gag me right now. Oh.
See, that's the reason that we don't usually serve it like this. I don't think you want that running away on you.
Oh. I think I'm done. You know, now that I've done this, it's I feel like I've, met my challenge. As far as the next challenge, it's going to be really hard to top this one. Really hard. But I'm glad I did it.
So are Eddie's sinful ways now at an end?
I definitely enjoy the thrill of live food, so I don't think I will, give this up anytime soon, at least.
It seems the deadly sin of gluttony is still gorging itself in today's society, swallowing up victims with its addictive ways.
What we've got to do as a society is help people realise that people need to eat to live and no more.
The power of the church has decreased so enormously over the last 100 years that, and relativism has ensured that we actually just think that there aren't really sins, there's no absolutes. But also, I do believe we live in a society where people aren't willing to take responsibility for their actions.